the first series of the day. You guys have some good words in your head about that game. Things that stand out to you very well. I do say
things.
Yeah, you do say things a lot.
Yes.
They seem to pay you for it. So what you guys are going to do is you're going to think your hardest for about 10-15 seconds about that previous game that we had. Then you're going to give me one word. Both of you are going to say one word. Your goal here is to say the same word. And if you guys can come together, join the powers of your brain and say the same word, you win. I don't know what you win, but you win something. If you don't, then we're going to keep going, because we're going to take those two words that you said, and you're going to try to find a word that combines those two words. And we're going to give you another 10 seconds. You're going to come up with another word. And we're going to keep going until you guys get the same word. Make sure that our caster synergy is on point. You guys ready?
No.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure we're clear. Are we allowed to repeat words?
No.
No. Okay.
Not in a row, right? Like you can repeat words if it comes, like if there's another word that comes between.
Okay. So we can't go back to what we.
You can't go back to what you just said. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Thank you for the question. Good catch out there. Good catch out. All right, so I'll give you guys about, let's give you 10 seconds here to think of your first words. When you're ready, go ahead and tell me you're ready.
I'm ready.
You're both ready. All right, on three. 1, 2, 3.
Vital.
Chaotic.
Magical? What was that?
Vital.
Is that vital?
Okay. So you got chaotic and you got vital. Now I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to come up with a word that associates those two words, chaotic and vital. Let me know when you guys have your words. Chaotic and vital.
I don't know if this is a good word, but it's the first thing that came to mind.
That's what this game is. The first thing that comes to mind.
All right. I
you
think
guys
I'm
ready?
ready. Yeah.
Chaotic and vital. All right. What's the word that ties it together? What you got?
Yone.
Blood pressure.
Blood pressure is 2 words.
But it's one phrase. You knew what it was.
No, he said one
Oh
word.
my God. It is supposed to be one word, but we're going to go with it because we're going to keep going.
Okay, Yone and blood pressure.
All right, Yone and blood pressure are the 2 words. What do you think can associate those 2 words, guys? What do you got? The duo synergy ain't working out really well here, all right?
Let's see if this works.
All right, what do you got? What are the words?
Ready? Vampiric.
Oh, swords.
Swords? Oh, no, no. You guys got this. You guys got this. I believe in you. There is one word that is sticking out in my head right now that I believe that you can do.
I got one.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So the words again were vampiric and swords, right?
Bloodthirster.
Bloodthirster. Okay. Joshi?
I was going to say vampiric scepter.
Dang it!
That's 2 words!
Why would you not go with the full item? Why would you not go with the full item? Oh my.
Because it has the word vampiric in it.
But it's a scepter. It's not a sword. Bloodthirster is a sword.
He's trolling.
The scepter isn't a sword either. It's not. It's
trolling.
Not a scepter. It's a scythe.
He is trolling me.
It's a scythe.
I claim victory, and Josh is trolling.
Okay.
All right, let's see if you guys can put it together. Pull it together.
I think we can do this one.
Vampiric scepter and bloodthirster. Those are the 2 words. What can you bring together? Synergy. Something. All right, give me your words.
Okay, this is hard because now I have to think
that
Josh is
really
not going
hard.
to use just 1 word. And then he's going to constantly use 2.
I got it. I'm ready.
All right, let's hear it.
Lifesteal.
Oh.
What did you have, Magical?
I did not have lifesteal. I had
First
blade.
thing, don't lie.
I had
blade. All right.
No, I did not.
This is your second opportunity. This is it. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the moment.
We're dancing.
The ball is in the air. It's ready to spike. You're ready to go. There's only one thing that could possibly be the answer.
You say that.
I say that, but we've already done this one time before, so let's hope the second time's the charm.
One thing is not 1 word.
So you have blades, and what was the other one again?
Lifesteal.
Blades and lifesteal. All right. Word that combines the 2. Go with the 1. First thing that comes to mind. What is it?
Blade of the Ruin King.
Oh my God.
Blade.
God. I don't know what to do. I've never been in this situation.
We're dancing.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't know.
All right, we're gonna give it a couple more tries. Then we're gonna let
Okay.
you guys rest a little bit. All right. So
Remember, we are allowed to repeat words, man.
you are allowed to repeat words.
Oh,
I
are
thought
we?
you guys were gonna go bloodthirster.
We can't go
I thought it was
one back.
literally on the table. It's like you just go
I
back to
didn't know you could go
bloodthirster.
back. Oh.
It's ready to
You can go
go.
further back.
You
We
just
said
spike
we can
it
go
down.
back. Okay. I got it.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm
So
ready.
let's remind what are the two words again?
So
that we're
Blade of the Ruin
associating?
King and
So-
Doran's Blade.
Doran's Blade and Blade of the Ruin King. All right, what are the two words? What is the word, the one word that associates both of those? You guys got it? You guys ready?
Yeah, I got mine.
Joshi, you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's hear them. What are they?
Lifesteal.
Bloodthirster.
Oh my goodness! I was trying to go to what you did last time.
I went to you.
I don't know what to do. I can't. It's like
dancing around it for
watching
a
a
while.
floundering fish and I can't reach it. All right, what are?
Do I have a
This is gonna
fish
be
round?
Okay, okay,
All right,
okay,
all right.
okay.
All right,
We
last.
got it.
This is your last
This
attempt.
is
This is
the
your
last
last
time.
attempt. This is your last attempt.
Lifesteal, Bloodthirster, somewhere in between.
Lifesteal, Bloodthirster.
Remember, we can repeat.
Lifesteal, Bloodthirster.
I'm ready.
I believe in
Oh,
you guys.
okay.
Lifesteal, Bloodthirster. Lifesteal, Bloodthirster. What is your word?
Vampiric.
Vamceptor.
Oh, say it,
Close enough.
Close
You
enough. That's
started
close
off
enough.
the same word. It's fine. I give it to you. GG, easy. It was absolutely simple. It was so good. You guys are so synergistic. Oh my goodness.
We got a great dynamic here. Thank you.
Great
David.
dynamic. that was. Thank you
Oh,
guys for
man.
humoring me. That was actually really fun.
I'm
All
glad we danced around each other so much, right? I kind of threw you off a little bit with the whole blood pressure, but I
I
was
can't
like, what is-
believe you didn't go Bloodthirster with that. You went Vamp
I don't build Bloodthirster very often. I'm with Opley.
You just build the Vamp Scepter. That's all you could have.
I build it into other items.
No, you just built the Vamp Scepter. That's canon now, all right, Joshi?
I
It's
mean,
a
back
fun
in the-
build on
back in the
Irelia.
day,
I don't know what
junglers
else
used
you
to-
want.
Hey, back in the day, junglers only used to build Vamp Scepter.
True. It's
Because
an
that was-
early
that'd
game
be-
power spike.
Yeah. Well, it's also the fact that it was cheaper, so that was your jungle item. Was a Vampiric Scepter.
Indeed.
Oh yeah. You also just start like a cloth armor way back in the day and just call
Yeah.
it community armor. in the
Cloth
jungle.
5. It was
But-
either
True.
Cloth 5 or Vampiric 2.
Yeah.
But that was our first iteration of Duos Lingo.
Duos
You guys' synergy definitely needs a little bit of help, but that's what we do these exercises for. It's like a trust fall, but with words. Kind of. We had a game that just happened, not anything that we were doing at halftime show, because it was Evil Geniuses versus Immortals Progressive to kick off the day, and what a kickoff it was! I guess magical.
Not I guess.
It was kind of a banger.
It was like, okay, the first 15 odd minutes were boring. There wasn't much going on during that time, but afterwards it was more fun. Like right here, they get the kill onto Arrow, which I think is great. You're already trying to slow down the Draven, but they never were able to kill him again. They struggled from then on out to actually get a pick onto Draven.
Yeah, I think this entire game, right, I started off by saying it was chaotic, and some of our fights in the mid-game didn't feel particularly planned, right? It didn't seem obvious that either side knew that these upcoming conflicts were going to happen, but later on, as soon as Immortals have a bit more control over the game, then we start seeing a whole lot more control come out of them, and that's the thing that I'm going to be paying attention to in our next game. Can Immortals take control earlier on in the game? Can they decide when they want to fight with more agency, or is it going to be the same kind of chaos where you're basically like flipping the game based on who's playing better in the moment?
And I was saying going into it, right, like volatility is going to be a major piece to this series itself. And we got to see a little bit in the chaos you're talking about. But I also want to go back to some of the points we were talking about in the top of the show, right? And we were talking about getting into this matchup. We were saying Vital looking good on the Yone. Gets the comfort this time around as well. But, you know, things go a little bit differently for them. And I think you can see along the lines of even Saligo in the mid lane for Evil Geniuses Academy having a decent performance here to kick off the day, Magical.
Yeah, I mean, Vital looked really good in this game, I think. Saligo was trying his damnedest to be able to carry this game.
He was trying.
The bigger problem wasn't even, like, I don't think Saligo was a problem at all. I think he was doing a lot to set up the teams. If you look at a lot of his gravity wills, they were really good. The problem was more that EG as a whole didn't have a composition devised to really be able to combat what Immortals wanted to do, which was not fight traditionally, not fight standard, fight chaotically, be all over the place, have everyone flanking the backline so that even if you put a good gravity well down, it's not like you can do too much.
Yeah,
We'll start to
exactly.
see a bit more of that, right? Like, we know Soligo plays these control majors quite well. Unfortunately, this game he wasn't really able to take control, and Victor is kind of like a medium to low agency mage a lot of the time, right? You don't dictate when fights happen. You have to be in positions where they have to fight into you, and you can have defensive agency in a lot of these fights. But we didn't necessarily see that because Evil Geniuses never really took control. We never really saw Surdy going for the plays initially. He cleaned up a couple good fights, but beyond that, it felt kind of like a lot of invisibility from most of the Evil Geniuses members.
I think that's the most interesting thing going into the next game, especially when, you know, we were talking a lot about the setup between teams, but you're also looking at members like Arrow whipping out the Draven and just saying, "Hey, here we go. We're gonna go ahead and take this dub." And IMT themselves have really woken up a little bit here in this game, and I think it's good for IMT, but I think it's also scary for Evil Genius Academy when we were propping them up a bit going into this one, Joshi.
Yeah, we know that Evil Geniuses have a lot of individual talent, but we also know that it's not been the easiest thing in the world for these players to gel with each other. Despite Smoothie coming in as a veteran, we're seeing a lot of the same issues coming in from Spring, right? We're not necessarily seeing Tomio playing with the same confidence. We're seeing Surdy struggling to remain consistent. We're seeing that Kaori, when he's on a good day, looks like the best player in the entire league, but when he's not having a good day,
Looks invisible.
where is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, gonna need some true sight or maybe some de-invisibility potions here. We'll see how it all works out. That's not even a potion in D&D. We'll see how it all works out in the second game of this series as Evil Geniuses versus Immortals Progressive is ready to go. Magical Joshi, take it away.
Thank you again, Mazel. We will see you after this game, getting ready for our second series of the day. But we got to finish the first one. We got to finish this one. Immortals Progressive Academy, Evil Genius Academy. I'm looking at the draft and wondering if they're going to change up more than just the sides.
I feel like we're going to see a lot of similarities between last draft and this draft because it is something where I don't feel like Evil Geniuses should have been too unhappy with a lot of their draft. I think the biggest thing that they're going to be looking to change is making sure that they can give Surdy counterpick. We saw this previously, right, when he was going up yesterday and he was playing the Gangplank. He did not look particularly good in Dekumo's Tryndamere. Whereas now...
That's a hard counter, though.
It's a very tough matchup to play, but it is a thing where it's like Evil Geniuses, when Surdy has a blind pick, he doesn't feel as comfortable in a lot of these lanes. And so going up against one of our newer members like Vital, we should be expecting Surdy to be beating him, even if the matchups aren't necessarily the best.
I mean, if we even look back to yesterday, when they got the victory in their second game against FlyQuest, I think that's what they even did. I got to look back in the notes really quick. I think, yeah, they had last pick for Surdy. They picked the Gwen at the very end just to make sure they got him in the best position possible.
Yeah, and the Gwen is definitely something he's definitely much more comfortable on, but now we are still seeing similar bans with the Seraphine ban coming through at Evil Geniuses. Now, I don't know if any of them have actually played this so far. Yeah, I'm not seeing it in my notes for Kaori or Smoothie.
I wouldn't put it past them, though. The Sarah Seraphine lane...
Can play it.
Right, it's Sarah Seraphine is usually what you see too. Even if it does have that flexibility to go mid lane, we're seeing it more often paired up with Senna as kind of a backup if you don't want to go Senna Tahm Kench. But here, Senna and Tahm Kench both available, and I wouldn't be surprised yet looking at that hover right now and locked in.
There you go. Senna is still one of the best champions on the patch, will remain so even going into 12-12, and is being traded for one of the other best characters on the patch. You trade Senna for Wukong, both characters are absolutely nuts at what they do, and now Immortals, they're saying that we think that we can go even or better in this matchup with the Senna, going up against Kaori and Smoothie, because you should expect to be getting put behind with this lane, but Arrow and Joey, they did fine, right? Other than Tomio coming down for a couple of ganks, there was one kind of egregious mispositioning from Joey, but other than that, they were able to play the bottom lane with pretty even situations.
But here, Kaori on Callista, one of the champions that we've seen nearly permanently banned away from Kaori throughout this split. In fact, I think the first time not even seeing it touched was last game. That it went through both pick and ban, not touched at all by either side because they got the Lucian and they had the Draven locked in pretty quickly. So I'm expecting that the run out of Glass will probably be the last pick there for Kaori. since we see the Senna Tom Kench and pretend to see things that try to really battle early into the lane phase to try to see if they can combat against the more weak side bot lane that a Senna Tom Kench provides.
Yeah, picking up the Renata, not letting it get banned away. I'm a bit more interested actually in saying who's going to be ending up playing this Taliyah. We know Pretty has played it before, and he had a fantastic game on it. I
expect it to be him.
Yeah, 9-1, but we also know that Chad can choose to play it. So now as we start to pay attention to the rest of the draft, none of these champions are particularly unusual. Taliyah's the least commonly picked, at least at this level of play. So I want to really start focusing in on what kind of matchup Evil Geniuses are going to be trying to create for Surdy. They've already banned away the Yone, they banned away the Fiora. I'm expecting a Gangplank ban, maybe an Aatrox ban targeted at Vital as well in order to make sure that Surdy can make this guy as uncomfortable as possible.
It's funny, you're looking at the top side of the map, but I'm looking at mid. Because the Yone, we know it's towards Vital. You pretty can play it as well. But the Azir ban from the side of Immortals Progressive as well, aimed towards Saligo. And I'm curious to see if they try to go for another mid lane ban. Maybe banning away Saligo's Zoe, that he's able to pilot pretty well. Forcing him on... I mean, then again, he's still got a couple other picks. There's the Lysandra that's still available. You can play that. You can play... Victor. We can play Orianna. That's the one I was thinking of, is the Orianna. That's something very classic to Saligo.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what this Jax unlocks, right? Because Vital has played the Fiora, but that's banned. The Olaf doesn't really care. I guess like Jax is a historic counterpick to like Gwen.
Oh, Gwen?
True. We haven't seen Vital play Camille so far this season, but
right.
You know, it's something that most top laners can just pick up. And Saligo going back over toward the Orianna is a little bit outranged from Pretty, but will be able to just burst him out and when you start getting towards 2-3 items.
This is, like I said, a Saligo special. This is a champion that he's very comfortable with. The 4-man Shockwave series landing just yesterday, as well as setting up his team. Unfortunately, losing that game, but Saligo himself nearly brought back that game single-handedly with those Shockwaves. So it's not too surprising to see them go for this kind of draft. And seeing that the Rengar is being hovered, it pretty much indicates what we expected, that it is Taliyah for Pretty. I'm just waiting to see, yep, there it is, the lock-in.
Yeah, and he tends to play this much more tanky version of the character. So yeah, it is going to be the Gwen coming through for Vital. He has played it once before, but we know we are seeing a couple champions specialties coming through, right? Pretty is one of the few people that have played Taliyah so far in the mid lane. Chad is the only person who has played Rengar. Saligo and Jimmy and I believe are the only mid laners who have played Orianna so far. So a lot of kind of unique picks that we're going to have to pay attention to how effectively they're going to be able to pilot these as the Gnar comes through for Surdy.
All right, the Gnar into Gwen matchup. Again, I feel like this is reminiscent. We saw this yesterday, didn't we? I think it was just the opposite. It was Surdy playing the Gwen into Gnar. Yeah,
and this is a pretty darn good Gnar matchup, right?
Oh, no, it isn't a gameplay, sorry.
True. But you can play the Gnar into the... Thanks, Joey. You can play Gnar into the Gwen because you are just able to like walk inside the circle pretty consistently, and especially once you get a couple of levels when you're not the incredibly squishy early game mini Gnar, you are going to be able to go head to head up against this Gwen all the time. And whenever you're in Mega, you kind of don't care about the circle. You just throw them outside of it, you throw them towards the turret, you throw them into a wall, and suddenly Vital in a very awkward position.
Very true.
You do got to be careful because Chad can still one-shot you even with a tank build.
That's what I was about to say. It's very true that that's how it works against Vital, but then you add in Chad's Rengar. I mean, this is why we're talking about how some of these players have those champions that are not entirely unique to them. I mean, some are, like the Rengar here for Chad, but seeing that they're really strong on playing those champions, really with this durability patch, it's brought up more playstyles that can vary drastically from team to team, player to player, and having something that can carry, even if it's probably going to be more of that bruiser build, that Rengar does a lot of damage regardless.
Yeah, and it's really based off of the base damages early on that we can see Chad try and find some of these advantages. We know that he has played the more traditional Assassin Rengar, but we also know he's a big fan of the Divine Sunderer into Black Cleaver, Lethal Tempo style Rengar, where you are kind of a tank because of the way that your W works. You just relieve a lot of the damage that you just had taken, and you're able to cleanse a lot of crowd control. So we will pay attention to see if Chad can continue to find success with these wild early game paths.
And getting into the second game of the day for day number 2 in week 3. It is our first best of 2 that we've seen so far in our day, with Immortals Academy coming out on top in that first game, but Evil Geniuses looking to bounce back, but they gotta face off against Chad's Rengar to do so.
Chad, we know, like, when he is able to find these level 1 plays, he looks so much better, right? He looks more in control. He looks like he's trying to push the tempo, and so Immortals, as they go through, they're going to be throwing down a ward.
Nice ward.
Like our scoreboard hasn't fully updated, but Immortals, they will be able to take a little bit of control of this side of the map, and whoa.
There we go.
They didn't actually throw a ward down.
No, I'm surprised. I think they baited it, trying to see if they can call the bluff right there. I mean, yeah, we're going to bluff that we put the ward down. You've now placed 2 wards. We have more, we're not quite as limited on where we can now place these wards, even if we want to late invade, which it seems that Vital and Chad are going to do.
Yeah, and they're going to be giving Vital a little bit more. Oh, they're giving it to Pretty.
Okay.
Okay, so they do give over a little bit of experience to at least Chad and Pretty. I believe Vital also picked up a little bit of it, so it will help them in their own lanes. But interesting play coming through from Chad, threatening the invade, but waiting to make sure that they can get the ward and go right on back to his own side of the map. But doing this start leashless is not something that tends to go nearly as well for Chad. When he does not find an opposing buff in the first 2-3 minutes, playing the more standard pathing tends to go over to players like Tomio historically.
However, it has given Vital a lot of control in this top lane against Surdy, trying to keep him away from the minions, denying a lot of the experience. While Vital hasn't gotten himself a lot of the minions himself, he did deny a decent chunk of change from Surdy's pocket.
So that will be very helpful, right? Gwen does have an incredibly strong level 1. You just jump on top of people and prevent Surdy from really playing the game. But at the same time, we're already seeing Tomio going to be clearing towards the bottom side of the map. Oh, Smoothie!
Flash for Flash. I respect that, Smoothie. And now Arrow flashless.
Arrow. I mean, we were saying that they were expecting to be able to go even in this matchup, but this is still a tough matchup to try and play for Sen and Tom Kench. You gotta play really far back because of all the percentage HP damage you can do between the passives of Kalista and the Renata. And we are already seeing that they are preparing to crush a very large wave. Tomio can be here, but I think it'll just allow Carry and Smoothie to get it back in.
I think that's actually what they want to. Get those small incremental leads over their opponents. Make sure that they're the ones dictating the pace of the bot lane, because top lane is being completely dictated by Immortal Surdy. He's not got the mega up. He could start trying to far that up, but look at Chad. He's playing for the dive. Flashed in already, and they're just going to give over kill. No, they're not, because Chad was taking the turret for too long. He got executed. What?
Oh, they execute coming through. Surdy never got the auto attack down, so Chad gets to walk through. But that's why we see Chad play this champion so often, right? It's basically a guaranteed stun or guaranteed root every single time he flashes to guarantee it, and Surdy couldn't do anything.
And Tomio trying to replicate what had been done in the top lane to Joey and Arrow in the bot lane, but now the trade of damage and getting the shutdown, but the bailout will not help the turret because the turret shot still went in effect. There's a 1-for-1 trade here, but unlike for Immortals, there was no execute.
No execute there. Smoothie goes back in and tanks the turret a second time and dies because of it. It was such a good dive before that, right? Making sure that he could use the Renata bailout to keep himself alive, but going back in, that's the difference there. Giving over a kill to Arrow. Suddenly the Senna is not sad about the play.
Not at all, though. Cowrie is still playing aggressive in this lane, getting a lot of damage back on Arrow, flashing for it as well. Will take down his opponent, but he'll fall in regards as well.
Look, I'm just saying, Immortals are very happy with this kind of situation, right? With Cowrie going down there, Immortals are going to be able to play this lane state from a relatively even spot. Cowrie and Smoothie, yes, they're getting these kills, but they need to be able to win this lane. Going even is huge, but there's even more to that. Look at the fact that Joey, he's not going to get this wave in, so it becomes even better for Evil Geniuses at the end of it.
I even think it's even better because both kills were onto Cowrie. While the Senna Tom Kench bot lane, you kind of have like the pseudo carry in Tom Kench, so you don't mind sharing the gold as much. Having a Kalista getting far ahead, since she's such a good mid-game champion, can be worrisome for the side of Immortals to try to contain.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Remember, I talked to Vital earlier about how he felt like he was being too greedy for a CS. Now he's not even taking the CS underneath the turret. He's actually going to be at a fairly large CS disadvantage.
Yeah, that lead is gone.
Even with the dive.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, we got a replay of the play, so we can look at the top lane. Then, I just want to watch Chad and see if he really doesn't take any damage here from Surdy.
Yeah, I mean, he throws out the Q, but it doesn't hit the right target, and Surdy not able to get any damage down. You see that there are no rings around Chad at the end of it.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Good stuff coming through from Chad.
And then bot lane, pretty much trying to replicate the same play in bot lane onto Arrow and Joey, but this one going a little bit more awry, especially when we keep our eyes on Smoothie this time around.
Yeah, and you know it's so much more difficult to dive the Tom Kench than it is to try and dive the center, right? He's got the thick skin to keep himself alive, and while Smoothie dies once, they bail themselves out, and then, oh, nobody hits again. Nobody else has taken over the turret. Smoothie thought he could save himself, but it was not enough.
I think he thought someone else had grabbed the aggro so he could go back in, but Tomio, he was just right outside of the range. Same with Kaori. They had Kaori was within the range, but he didn't hit anyone in that time, and Tomio, who had hit someone, was outside of the range.
Yeah. So the game remains relatively even across the board, but I was a little bit too hasty. Kaori and Smoothie have built up a pretty significant CS advantage, and now with their push, they're going to be threatening to pick up this Ocean Dragon. Chad's around, but he's not level 6. I don't think he's planning to go in for this, and it's going to be a brutal position for Immortals, because even though the lead hasn't ballooned just quite yet, top lane is a great spot for certain. He's pushing towards it. He's going to be able to go back, buy his items, and now is when we're going to start seeing the Gnar become much more comfortable in the Gwen matches. The bottom lane has a big advantage here as well, and Kaori and Smoothie, as they start looking to take up plates up against the Sen and Tom Kench, they're going to be going into the mid game with an advantage as well.
Well, this is what we tend to see from Evil Geniuses Academy when they find success, is that final pick for Surdy. Getting him on something comfortable to be able to actually face off in this lane from an at least an advantageous position. But yeah, you saw that play bot lane, getting the flash out of Arrow. Pretty nice stuff from the side of Kaori and Smoothie.
I think Smoothie flashed immediately as soon as his flash came up, if I remember correctly, right? Because that's the second time he's thought he's found out Arrow, but it hasn't necessarily resulted in anything because of a great counter flash coming through from the Senna.
Yeah, pretty much the same as before. It was the same as before. Like, what was that, level 2? Almost the exact same play was attempted by Smoothie.
Yeah. Second first, same as the first.
Yeah, and here, same kind of play again in the bot lane. But now, Smoothie was taking the tower for way too long to start it all off, so Joey, who's level 6 and's got a thick skin to himself, will be fine fighting back against Smoothie, Kaori, and Tomio, thwarting the dive completely.
Yeah, and Soligo is going to have to try and bail them out a little bit. It was a good attempt coming from Evil Geniuses, but Joey hitting level 6 means that no dive is possible. You can't just beat up the Sen and Chad. And we're going to be taking another neutral objective. The Rift Heralds were 1-1 last game, but it felt like a lot of the early game was dictated by Chad and the chaotic situation he was able to create.
Yeah, that's Chad in a nutshell, isn't it? He thrives in the chaos. He thrives on making sure that he is all over the place, constantly looking to battle, and anyone who tries to fight against him has a difficult time. And this is pretty much showing the same case. This is a pick he's tended to grab whenever Wukong's on the other side, is this Rengar. To him, this is his counter to the power that Wukong has on this patch.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that from Surdy. Just coming right barely into the circle and making sure you can get the third auto attack to prod the Hyper. But Smoothie, he's here well before his jungler.
Yeah. Spots out. The red buff is going to be attempted by the side of Immortals. Might have the smite to secure it. Chad has smite, while Tomio does not. So he waits a little bit longer, does smite to secure it. He takes a lot of damage from Tomio. Pushed back in with a seismic shove. Even though Thrill of the Hunt has been popped, I don't think they want to go too much further because Soligo, he was right there and waiting.
Not able to get a whole lot more other than the red buff, but it is still a small prize. You know, Chad will give up resources in order to deny camp from his opponent. Now he goes right back to his own side of the jungle, whereas Tomio has nothing left to farm in his top quadrant of the map. And without his ultimate, he doesn't present a ton of gank threat either. So I feel like this is a pretty big win from Immortals, even though they don't find any kills. And now Joey not going to be able to land the slow. But we're starting to see that this game is pretty wild. It is still pretty chaotic, just as we saw in the first one.
Teams are attempting these plays, but some of them are not connecting fully, some are. At this point, 10 minutes into the game, we are pretty dead even between the two sides. It just depends, and that's more just in gold. When you look at the CS, that's a different story. Lots of leads on the side of Evil Geniuses.
That's a big turnaround, right? Because last time we looked at this in game 1, it was Evil Geniuses that all of their lanes were kind of losing. We were seeing that Surdy was getting pushed around by Vital. Pretty was pushing Soligo around as well. And so, The fact that Evil Geniuses are coming into this with a much more equitable game state does allow them to kind of go with the game plan that they had really effectively in their series yesterday up against FlightQuest. Start looking later on for the teleports to come out from Surdy in order to control where Pretty and Arrow can actually stand.
Especially now that he's already getting a good shove and the wave has been frozen top lane. He TP's back into lane. Surdy, I'm surprised that he went for that, but I guess it's still pretty early. The teleport's not being unlocked just yet. Wants to try to unfreeze this wave so he doesn't have to worry about getting suffocated by Vital and losing out too much, because he has to be that player that is ready for the TP counters.
Yeah. He doesn't have the... I'm actually unsure. I definitely prefer the Trinity Force in this matchup whenever I have to play it, because you're allowed to dance around Gwen a lot more effectively, and Gwen can only move the Hallowed Mist once, but Surdy doesn't yet have all the extra movement speed that the... it used to be Phage, what's it called now? The Hearthbound Axe? That's that allows him to like get all the movement speed every single time he auto attacks. He should be able to dance around Vital pretty effectively, and it means that Vital can't stick to him.
No. Nor do I think that Vital wants to at this moment. He's just trying to say if he can maintain an even CS, because it's almost like the same story for Vital as it is for Surdy. These two players are looking not to fully contest their opponents, but look to see how they can impact the team fights and the skirmishes that are soon to come, especially since both of them having used their TPs and even getting the TP mid lane from Sligo just to make sure he eats up this mini wave, doesn't start falling behind himself. I'm just waiting to see when they can actually utilize those tools for themselves, as Chad takes another one of his jungles and smites it down, secures it. Tomio is pretty deep in enemy lines with the cycle getting a little bit of damage. Chad dives back in, forces a couple flashes off the side of Evil Geniuses, but everyone's still alive at the moment. Well, Cowrie, he's going deep. He's looking for these kills, but he's got to be careful. He's stunned up, taking a lot of damage from Chad, who dives in, takes the kill for himself. Then he will fall to Saligo with a lot of damage coming in from Pretty. Looking to see if he can pepper them with the rock. Just another rock, and more, as Saligo has to flash himself to try to get out of dodge. But the double knock-up on the side of Joey with the pull back in. No bailout for Saligo. Tomio now getting chased down by Tom Kench, and it's a double kill for Pretty.
The chase potential from Immortals was wild, but at the same time, Surdy finds a solo kill up top lane. We'll see how much he actually takes off this turret, but we get to see how difficult it can be to play this Callista, going into so many slows, going into Pretty, who just throws down the rocks, and you stun yourself every time you go for an auto attack as this Callista. So these fights, they're really difficult to navigate, and Immortals are able to pick up the dragon.
They get the dragon, they get 2 kills in the bot lane, trading it for Chad, and like you talked about, there was the solo kill for Surdy top lane, which is great to see. This is kind of why we're always so hyped to see how Surdy can play.
Yeah, and you know this is a good matchup as well, right? So it's going to be watching like Surdy dance around Vital with the hyperprocs relatively fast. Yeah, and we said, right, you kind of don't care when your opponent has the Hallowed Mist whenever you actually have your Ignite. It's just a matter of chasing him down. And even though Vital did a good job dodging a couple of these skill shots and not taking quite as much damage as he maybe ought to have, Surdy still is able to pick up the kill anyway.
Well, he didn't respect the Mega Gnar that was already starting to rage up. He didn't have Ghost. He didn't have Needlework during that fight. There's a lot of hubris on the side of Vital, thinking that he could solo kill Surdy again.
Yeah.
Try to be as aggressive. Yeah, but this time Surdy doesn't have a flash, but he does have Mega about to come up, so he should be fine. Still all the same in top lane.
Ooh, shockwave.
Oh my, okay, Saligo. Okay, Saligo. Nearly solo kills Arrow, and with Tomio nearby, even looking for the Pebble. The Pebble turns into a rock in the face. And somehow Surdy was able to find the snipe, and now he's got to be careful because with Pretty and Vital chasing down Surdy, he's low, he's now mini, and they're getting more damage onto Tomio, who has to use the decoy over the wall to survive.
Oh my gosh, they get everyone out, or do they?
This is greedy. They've got Chad, and they've locked off Saligo from being able to escape with Smoothie. The Weaver's Wall will finally fall, but this is a long, drawn-out fight yet again as Pretty looks to chase down, not going to get the Everfrost to connect, but the Seismic Shot also going wide means Saligo will survive.
Man, these fights are so dancey, right? There's so much movement coming through. Everybody looking to try and create these small windows of opportunity, but it's still chaos. Neither of these teams feel like they are ready for these fights to actually break out, and it's based off of all these individual plays that people have to make. This is something that was definitely benefiting Immortals. They're a team that really thrives in this chaos, but Evil Geniuses were the ones that actually won it this time.
They won portions of the fight, but the problem was they didn't retain control on this top quadrant of the map. So Chad getting himself another one of these neutral objectives, taking the Rift Herald, probably looking to pop that top lane so he can maybe crack how difficult this lane has been for the side of Vital.
Surdy can... Okay. Surdy, if he didn't know that there were people here, could have taken that fight.
Yeah, the thing is, I think he knew that people were there. Saw how aggressive Pretty was playing, so he decides to play cautiously, calls for reinforcements. The turret will survive because of it. Again, since the fight kind of was weird and chaotic before, Immortals aren't too threatened. They got vision control on this top quadrant of the map so they could answer evil geniuses.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to take a look once again at Surdy with the crazy boulder toss this time around.
It's not just a boulder, it's a rock.
It's a rock. And so, I mean, the big thing is Saligo forces Eric to go into an uncomfortable position and Surdy just kind of blind guesses over the wall. Now, that one's actually blind, unlike Saligo earlier, magical. But because this fight becomes so crazy and everybody lives on evil geniuses, that one kill advantage ends up meaning that with all the cooldowns blown, this next potential fight is going to be really determined based on how well Surdy can actually get in.
And Surdy, he's looking pretty strong at the moment. Divine Sindore has been built up for him and Tomia. So they're both in a strong position to be able to fight, especially looking over on the other side. Actually, not especially. Now that I look at it, Vital, he's got that Rift Maker completed on top of it, so he's going to be difficult now for Surdy to actually contain.
Nah.
You don't think so?
Nah, this matchup is so good for Nar, man. It is
really?
so difficult. Yeah, it is so difficult for Vital to do anything.
Even with the Rift Maker?
Even with the Rift Maker, like, you can fight if Surdy stands and delivers, but Surdy doesn't have to do that. His kiting is so effective in the 1v1s on the side. So, this is going to be his opportunity. Like, Vital still interacts positively with everybody else, but not with the Nar.
Well, look at where Vital is positioning. They're trying to get him in a flank opportunistic area so that he can easily jump onto this back line. But Pretty wants to crash this minion wave instead, take down the tier 1, and force evil geniuses to now look for this dragon play. They already started up, but they got to be careful because now Pretty, having taken the turret, can start rotating around.
The root.
They've got the shove too. Saligo caught out. Nice last embrace came in from Arrow with the ult over the wall, getting a lot of damage on Tomio. They hadn't got the Weaver's Wall to connect. Instead, they're looking for the chase. One in the Fate's Call with the Dockup coming in. Smoothly will be finished off by Chad, continuing to hunt down evil geniuses underneath the turret and the Devour, the jungle, the aggro. Chad dies in the fight. Somehow he's saved, but now it's turning around. Look at Joey. He's cutting off Surdy. He's about to go Mega. He goes Mega too, but he still should die with the Gnar into the wall. One more pebble, throw another rock, because Surdy is dead.
Again, absolutely chaotic fights coming through, but the big thing there, evil geniuses, they were looking to take the fight while Surdy still had his rage bar all the way filled up, but they weren't able to actually do it. And Vital, even though he doesn't interact super favorably with Gnar at this point, interacts so well with all of these range champions on the side of evil geniuses. He throws down the Hallowed Mist, and suddenly none of them can do anything to him. He's able to charge right on in. They reward themselves with a bunch of kills. They reward themselves with the Infernal Dragon, and now Immortals, they feel like they're in firm control of the game. But watch how Surdy gets separated from the team, and his Mini-Gnar doesn't get to do a whole lot. Yes, he slows down Vital's way to get into the fight, but as soon as Vital comes over the wall, this dive is on. The play is going. There's not a whole lot for them to actually do, and now they're looking for top lane.
Oh, cool shockwave there from Saligo. But he had to flash over the wall, taking a lot of damage from Pretty. Seismic shove, man, Pretty looking so clean on Talia.
Remember last time we saw him play Talia, we made a quick montage of him with all of the seismic shoves he landed back to back to back. Now, even with Saligo's flash up, not able to get away from it, is forced to try and flash over the wall.
Is this the point of the broadcast where we all reminisce? It's like the gray screen, but it's us like remembering the past and just showing Pretty on Talia?
Yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't be opposed. I think Pretty could play an LCS this season.
I do too. Yeah, he's been popping off, and now he's got to defend himself against Cowrie and Smoothie, who are fighting against him, but he keeps throwing more rocks with the Bela and using the stopwatch. Thumbs up. Okay, Joey now helping out to make sure they take down Smoothie. Double kill for Pretty. 6-0-5 scoreline.
Still, he is so good into the Kalista, man. I mean, Kaori runs in and he stuns himself, and then he gets thrown around. Joey's there with the teleport.
Yep.
It doesn't feel like Pretty can do any wrong. We always give Jimmy credit for never dying in the sidelines, but right now, Pretty is in total control. And Chad, he doesn't care. He's so tanky. He's going to shrug off almost all this damage here.
Yeah, he's just like,
kidding.
yeah.
He's saving his W.
I mean, they get the turret. Who cares? They're just here to see if they can take
Surdy
down
can
these
win
structures.
this.
And now Surdy, he's gone Mega, looking for the fight against Vital, getting a shield on the other side of the map, coming in from Arrow with a TP from Saligo, trying to see if they can chase down Shockwave, going wide, not connecting, but here's Chad in the backline, looking for Saligo to hunt him down. He's got a lot of damage, but nice Gnar ult from Surdy, might just save his mid laner, but Pretty's here, and Pretty is huge. He's looking for the fight, and look at the rest of the crew for Immortals Progressive. They've got the flanks, they've got the angles, and even if you got the knock-up, Tomio, everyone's dead around you, so you can only take one with you. You will eventually fall once they chase you down. The Monkey King has been slain by the Hunter.
And it looked so good for Surdy, right? He was able to turn the fight, but then it's Pretty showing up once again. 7-0-7 already. He was so fed last time in Talia, and he's looking to repeat his role once again this time. It feels like this game was set up for him to have success. He goes top lane with Weaver's Wall, finds a kill on Saligo. He gets challenged by Kaori and Smoothie, instantly kills them both with the help of Joey. Now he gets the top lane turret, and then he transitions bottom lane. He's everywhere on the map, and nobody can stop him.
Got that movement speed from the passive when you're hugging those walls for Pretty. He doesn't even have TP. He has Ghost. So he gets even more movement speed to move around the map very quickly. And even if Kaori will find some bounty off that top turret, it might be in trade for all that damage on the tier 2 in the bot lane. I thought for a second Pretty might have taken it, but everyone showed up. So Evil Genius denied that, but let's take a look at the replay.
Yeah, Surdy is like strong enough to actually like take this 1v2 because Rengar doesn't do a ton of damage. And the big thing here is even though Sligo comes in and whips the Shockwave, Pretty is here. And with all of the cooldowns blown, trying to take down Chad and Vital, Pretty's like, okay, well, now it's my turn. And there's not a whole lot that anybody can do. Smoothie not able to correctly use the hostile takeover to prevent Pretty from running people down. And with the Ghost, with all the movement speed that he has on the loot, he just chases everyone down. I don't think he has loots, actually.
I'd have to double check. I think he has Everfrost, actually.
I think he has Everfrost.
But either way, he's doing so much damage with those pebbles. Well, not pebbles, they're rocks, because we all know they're rocks. And look at bot lane. It's not a pebble. He nearly took the bot lane turret too. So not only was he able to chase down many members of Evil Geniuses, but it took 4 members just to make sure that the tier 2 didn't fall to Pretty.
Yeah, I'm almost a little bit disappointed that PoE came back at the perfect time to allow him to play, because we knew that Pretty was scrimming with the LCS team for a while. We had all expected that we were going to be seeing a player play instead of him here in Academy while he was going to be playing with the LCS team. So he's been scrimming with them for a while. He has some great synergy. He's a very good supportive mid laner. But one of my criticisms has been they hasn't necessarily been doing a whole lot in a lot of the games that they're winning. He just shows up and does his job. But this is a game where he is showing up and he is being the primary carry for Immortals because he's everywhere and willing to make plays.
But I feel like that's also how Immortals have been playing around Pretty this entire split. Like in previous splits, I think you're right that it's not like he's been not performing well. He just hasn't really been there. But here in this season, he is popping off, constantly able to chase down these members. Look at the damage. He's got 3.5 items completed with the Blighting Jewel in his inventory. So of course Tomio gets annihilated whenever he shows up.
And there's so little that the rest of his team can't do. Pretty over the wall.
Oh, look at the damage on a Surdy. That is insane.
Hey, Joey.
Nice Devour, should be able to get the kill. Surdy wasn't even able to go Mega. This fight is all Immortals. They can completely clean the floor with Evil Geniuses. Kaori is the only remaining member. As Chad, fairly tanky, can take the turret for a while. But Kaori, he'll survive, only to watch his whole base fall into ruin.
And Pretty goes from one side of the fight to the other almost instantly. Now he's bottom lane again, trying to find the maximum for his team. We see Immortals, they're splitting their attention. Vitals on the Dragon as the rest of Immortals take away the red buff. And I think they have the health bars to try and go for this Baron if they want to. But instead, they want to back away. They don't want to overextend themselves. They don't want to be buttered over too much bread.
And saying that they have probably a lot of gold in Pretty's pockets. He's got the Blighting Jewel I talked about before, but getting more kills from that previous fight, he could probably complete that. Get the Void Staff in his inventory so he can, he's sitting on 1,800. He's got a lot of gold left up on the table.
Yeah, he's up like 5K, right? Like, that is so much money. Also, Tom Kent, very, very strong. We haven't necessarily been looking at Joey nearly as much on this supportive champion, but he is got more money than Cowrie.
Yeah. All right, he's a beefy boy. He's a great frontline for the team. Having the Frozen Heart as well as that Frostfire Gauntlet, completing a Demonic Embrace. What a Chad. Wait, no, he's Joey.
He's Joey. Chad is the Rengar, but I feel like this item is underbuilt, but that's like a tangent for another day. Right now, we got to see how cleanly can Immortals actually close out this game. They have control of the top side of the map. And Pretty.
Oh, whoa! Houdini! Where'd he go?
Want to see a magic trick?
Not really.
Well, Smoothie didn't want to either, but he didn't have a choice in the matter. He just disappears off the map, and Immortals, they now control everything. As you see that they are already hitting the Baron. Pretty is nowhere close.
No, look at him. He is zooming. He's going to get there so fast. Cowrie has no way to close the gap in the distance as quickly as Pretty can. So instead, he goes back to the bot lane. Weaver's Wall might be able to start off a fight at the other side of the Baron, looking for that pick on Sligo, and they do. They get 2 kills, and they can go right back onto the Texan Bulwark.
Okay, and Tomio's dead. There's no opportunity for a smite steal, and Cowrie, he's been bottom lane this entire time. He gets the objective bounty in the bottom lane, but Pretty, he's everywhere in the map. 10-0-10. That's so many extra fantasy points he's getting, creating double digits, and now trying to challenge 30.
Trying to challenge him? He can challenge him. He's level 16, 30's only 14. He's got, like I said, he already has the Void Staff completed. Probably could get even more off this recall. He's got a control word in the inventory. Let's see what he gets. Just gets a straight up needlessly large rod.
Yep. Well, I said tries to because Serdy's just like, nope, I will decline your challenge. I am going to leave, and that was definitely the right call, right? Serdy, you know, he did a good job controlling his wave. He did a decent job actually playing up against Vital. He unfortunately misplayed the dive ever so slightly, allowing Chad to execute himself, but I feel like he's been playing quite well this game. It's mostly just been the matter that nobody's been able to deal with Brady.
No, and I don't think anyone can.
Whack.
He's got, like I said, he's got 4 items, 4.5 items completed. All this whack in the top lane. Tomio should at least learn the lesson that he can't really fight the rain guards. You even get the cleanse coming in from Cowrie to try to get away, but here's Chad diving into the back line. Getting a lot of damage onto Smoothie, onto Cowrie. He's got 1. The Shockwave pulling him back underneath the turret, trying to see if they can stay alive. But Pretty, he's just getting a lot of damage on the other side, waiting to see who he can chip out first. Getting more onto Serdy, but Serdy cutting it back, waiting it out. 2 kills for only the 1. Evil Geniuses were able to capitalize on a bit of an overextension from Immortals.
Yeah, this is unfortunately a bit too typical of the way that Immortals have played. Chad going a little bit too far forward and Pretty not able to follow up because of how far Chad and Vital actually go. They should be able to still pick up this turret or at least do significant damage to it, but they are choosing to back away, take a bunch of camps away. And remember, Arrow still looking to pick up all these souls, so while Joey does this, Arrow will be wailing away and Pretty.
I think Pretty's just looking to annihilate someone again. Like Tomio, look at that damage. You couldn't even decoy away. That's how fast it happened.
And he had them off on Warriors, it didn't matter. So Immortals, they continue to take control. Smoothie wasn't the one that disappeared, but now they're looking to make Saligo disappear.
Saligo's got flash to try to get away from this. He does flash over the wall, but he got stunned up by the last embrace so they can get another kill. Joey is suddenly godlike. 7-1-11 on Tom Kent and looking for more, looking to continue to fight. They got the flash coming in from Smoothie, and now they got to worry about Serdy, but he's only mini. He does not have the Mega Gnar up, and if they can burst him down first, they hit the bailout. Bailout not going to be in time, so they can pick up 2 kills while they do get a shutdown onto Joey. It's all Pretty, baby. He's looking pretty clean as they are looking to topple the structures, topple the base of Evil Geniuses. Cowrie will defend the best he can with Tomio, now respawning. It's only a matter of time with with Pretty being so fed before he just ends the game outright.
Oh, geez. 12-0-13. Basically one-shotting the decoy instantly, and now Immortals, they also have Chad coming into the mid lane. They are making sure that they clean this with precision, and Vital's already pushing down in the south, so they're able to get basically everything they want. They back away for the Dragon, and it's hard to praise Pretty enough for his gameplay in this game. He was been able to take all challengers. He was able to kill every single person multiple times on the Evil Geniuses side, and he's done it all without dying.
That's the crazy thing to me, is that somehow he's got, 25 kills that he's been a part of, yet hasn't died well, you look at everyone else, and even though they're putting up impressive scorelines like Joey being 8, 2, and 11, look at Arrow 3, 5, and 19, you just cannot compete with how much Pretty has been the focal point of the success in this game.
Yeah, and the impressive thing too is he's like the second top farm, only behind Kaori, who has just kind of not fought for a lot of this game. But we get to see, how much damage he actually does to Tomio. Instantly comes through, and there's not a lot that Tomio can do, right? As soon as he decoys, he hits himself on another rock, and whew, those rocks do a lot of damage. It's not the same kind of burst as pre-rework, but still, it's more than enough when you have this much gold.
I was about to say, it feels like it's doing more damage than the rework, honestly, because, Jesus, he is so far ahead on this champion. He's got 12 kills. That puts him in the top 5 for most kills in a single game by one player, just behind Arrow, who has 13. So if he can get more kills in this game, he can even pass Shaden and Takeover, who sit at 14.
Is that a summer record or an all-time?
Summer.
Summer? Okay. Yeah, I think he's likely to do that.
Well, let's see, because now Vital, he's fighting against 3 members. Nice run from Kaori, but with 3 members focused on Vital, that means they left their structure mid lane all by its lonesome. The last one that protects the Nexus, and they got the pick on the other side coming in from Chad. No Renata Gloss, no more bailout. It's all about trying to see if they can save the day with a wombo combo onto the members of Immortals, but they don't have the damage to be able to follow that up. Instead, they got to be careful. Joey already gobbled up Pretty, giving him a fat shield to make sure he is still alive. The KDA, perfect as it is, still able to be the thing that they can rely on the most. Well, Pretty, he's just chasing down Kaori. He blows him up. 13, count him up. With the Nexus so low, they might look for a little bit more to pad the KDA, but they could also look to finish off the game instead. They've got to pick on one side with EG now forced back into the base. Give it 14. Pretty is legendary, and Immortals get a 2-0 sweep over EG.
14-0 and 14. This is why we're disappointed that he wasn't able to play for Immortals LCS so far. We still think there's opportunities for him to do that. He's definitely the kind of player who can do almost anything for your roster. If you need somebody to play supports, he got you. If you need him to play control mages, he got you. If you want him to play tanks, he got you. This guy can do everything for the roster.
I mean, it is always impressive to see Pretty play to this caliber. We know he's capable of it, and with the meta being more shifted towards control mages, we're really seeing the pinnacle of how his gameplay has been in Academy, and I hope to see far more of it in the future and in the LCS. But for now, we're going to toss it to a break. When we come back, we'll have our wonderful host of Mazel here for an interview. Make sure you stay tuned.
Welcome back, everyone, and we're here for the Verizon post-game interview. I'm Mazel, and I'm joined by the Immortals Progressive Academy jungler, Chad, the chattest of them all. My dude coming in with a Game 2 victory on the Rengar. That's got to feel real good. How do you feel about the meta right now? It feels like you can, stretch your muscles a little bit, flex your wings. I don't know if those are the same back and forth.
I'd say it feels good. I'd say in jungle specific, you kind of play everything. You could play carries like Graves. You could play bruisers like Rengar, and then you could also play like tanks like Volibear and Trundle. So you kind of can play everything. The only thing you can't play are AP junglers because of the lack of AD mids in the meta. But I'd say jungle meta is really fun to play in right now.
Hey, I can't wait to see some more picks come out. Coming in though, you get a 2-0 victory in this week number 3, which is actually kind of incredible, and especially with an up and down start. How do you feel about the season so far for your squad?
Pretty good. I mean, this is the first week that we're playing as a 5 squad. The first 2 weeks there was like we had subs playing, or we didn't have scrims going on, or I was playing from home because I was sick the first 2 weeks. So there's like a lot of up and down different things. And this is the first week where we're all in the office, all five of us playing scrims together, and then not playing matches together. And now we're 4-0 since then, so it feels good.
Hey, I got to see a little sneak peek of the office. It is really nice in there. So y'all got to be real comfortable all together in there hanging out. I love it. How do you feel working with the rest of the team? Like working with Vital here in this new split. How has that been?
Well, he is very vital to the team's success. But I'd say that's really nice. He's a goofball. This kid is like playing comp for the first time in here, like cracking jokes mid game, like he's been here for a while, So this guy's just a goofball. We spam ping each other every time I take his cannon or he takes my camp. So I mean, he's great to play with. But no, Vital's great.
I love that so much. Hey, the bonding could be stronger. Also, in the mid lane, close proximity to the solo laners. Pretty, just go ahead and pop off. Why not? 14-0, 14 on the Talia. How does it feel to work with Pretty for another split?
Good. I mean, I think that breaks the academy kill record last split and this split, because I think last split was like 13 or 12. So he's the record holder now. But I mean,
I got one
Pretty is great. Yeah.
Did it make up for the Cassid and Penta? That's all I'll ask.
Well, in my opinion, I saw losses the Cassid and Penta game, so like I can't really say much about that one. But no, playing with Pretty is great. I mean, last split I had COVID the first 3 weeks of the split. So I wasn't here for the start, and I feel like start's really important because you get to bond with your teammates and learn like how they think and how they view life. So me and Pretty never really got to bond or understand each other the first half of the split, I'd say, last split. But now it's like during PG we kind of fully understand how we both want to play the game. So now going into this split we're like perma in sync compared to the last split, like having arguments or discussions on what is actually better. Now we both know what's better.
I like it, and at least having gone through that is a big growing experience for the both of you. I think that's super interesting. I want to highlight, I don't want to leave anybody out here. You are working with a bot lane in Arrow and Joey. Arrow even whipping out the Draven. A
superstar,
today.
You mean?
How's it been? Yeah, I know, superstar. How's it been working with those two?
I mean, Bop is, he delivers. Like Bop is the rock in the team you need. He is the movie star Bop, and then Joey is like. I mean, he's like
Joe's been kind of
smurfing a bad day of
recently.
scrims or something. Like he's the guy that like makes it a good day of scrims, So I mean, I love all my teammates. They make coming to work every day fun. I mean, I got a superstar, ballin, a movie star, and the best Renata in Academy. Like, what else could you ask for?
I love it, man. I love it. My cheeks are hurting from smiling so much here. What do you feel like you've improved the most coming into this split and now this far into the split here, Chad?
I'd say I improved on the most, I don't know if this is the right word to use, but I'd say analytical gameplay. I think like in the last two weeks, or at least yesterday's and today's matches, I didn't look like, oh, I'm popping off, getting kills, doing team fight, like crazy stuff, right? I haven't done anything like that, but just like I've kind of reined it back. Like I think last couple of days, I have really, really good tracking, and I do things in fights or around the map that it's hard to see when you're watching the VODs, but like just freezing laners' waves, covering them on their waves. So I'd say just analytical play and playing more like behind the shadows, like the guy that you need, the guy behind the computer that's working you. Yeah.
I like that actually. I like that approach too. I'm sure Kelsey will as well with the analytical approach. Now I got a little bit of spicy one here. How do you feel about the competition in Academy first? Do you feel like competition is pretty stacked? Do you feel jungle is particularly stacked?
I think jungle's a bit better this year split. I think there's a lot of good junglers, or at least there's like 3 or 4 good junglers, I'd say. After that, it really falls off. But no, I mean, I'm excited to play tomorrow. We're 4-0 this week. It'd be nice to go 6-0 in Super Week, and we're playing against Dig, so it should be easy. I mean, they only have one good player on their team, and it's their mid laner. After that, it like completely falls off. So if Insanity doesn't decide to like single-handedly carry the game, it's not even close. You know, their top scores.
He has to decide as well.
I mean, their mid's worse too, but Insanity's just their only like even good player or even decent. You know, everyone else is just, especially Exu. You know what I mean?
Oh, I got some spice. I hope Exu's watching. I can't wait to watch that jungle matchup tomorrow. Want to see if you had any shout-outs, Chad, before we let you go.
Nah, just shout out the team. Shout out Clarzio. Shout out my brother. Shout out Boom. Shout out the boys. Shout out Spencer. You know, all my friends and roommates and family. Thanks for supporting.
Chad, appreciate you so much, man. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Get ready. Oh, we gotta throw Brandon in there. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Get ready for the games tomorrow and come back with it strong.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.